If, in fact, you are profit maximizing in your country and that country is protecting you, you have a duty to protect the country.
Hey everyone, Coach Investor back with another Palantir video for you today. So in today's video, we're going to discuss a couple of things regarding Palantir. We're going to have a listen at Alex Karp's recent interview and one important bit that differentiates him to other CEOs out there. We're going to have a talk about the insider selling that has been happening because he sold some shares, so everybody's panicking again. Misinformation, same thing has happened with Lemonade. So we're going to discuss that. And we're also going to discuss how Europe will look like for Palantir. Would they like to expand further in the future? The difficulties of entering the European market. We're going to discuss all of that in this video. But before I do so, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. And if you like these videos, maybe leave it an early thumbs up as it really helps me out grow the channel and get my videos out there. So without further ado, charts first. Right, so looking at the graph real quick, we can see that obviously in the highs we've had 2 times close to $40 close. Since then the stock has gone down, touched twice on that $21 mark, rebounded like the most of the market out there. But we can see that before in November, that $21 mark was exactly when the stock broke out, and now it serves at a nice little support. So like with Square, use the support line to decide whether you want to open or add to your position. As of now, Palantir has grown into one of my biggest positions in my portfolio, and I'm pretty happy with that. If it drops even more, I will be happy to add to my position. Right, so now let's talk about the noise that has been going on for the last couple of days regarding Alex Karp, the CEO, selling $10.3 million worth of shares, and apparently it doesn't stop there. So we're going to look at the article right now. So it says here on Barron's, Palantir CEO Karp discloses $10.3 million stock sale. That's the tip of the iceberg. So Palantir CEO and co-founder Alex Karp this week sold $10.4 million worth of the data analytics company's shares in a transaction intended to cover the tax liability tied to the vesting of certain restricted stock units. Now, if you look at this real quick, you can see here in the title $10.3 million, but in the article it's 10.4. I don't know, Eric. Next time, maybe double check your article. So Karp sold close to 500,000 shares of Palantir at prices ranging from $21.55 to $23.54. There has been more insider selling by another co-founder, Stephen Cohen, sold $3.9 million worth of shares, probably others that have sold as well. Not such a big deal. But the main reason why they're selling is because of tax purposes. So Karp is likely to sell many more shares in the coming months. Ooh, panic in the streets. According to the company's S1 filings for its direct listing, Karp has 60.9 million stock options granted in 2009 with strike prices of 10.3 cents that will expire on December 3rd, and another 9 million options granted in 2011 with a strike price of 85 cents that also expire December 3rd. Exercising those options will cost Karp $12.8 million. In return, he will receive stock worth $1.6 billion that will create a mammoth tax bill, and Karp is likely to sell a substantial portion of those shares this year to cover the liability. So again, this is not the case of a CEO not believing in his own company, not believing that his company is going to be much better in the future. This is a case of someone that is probably going to cover their future cost by just selling shares right now to pay their future tax bill, because as we can see, he's probably going to pay a lot. It's just him covering his own ass. To end this topic, I don't know if this is something on Twitter or on YouTube, but lots of newbies in the market really like to hang on to those clickbait titles and create fear in the market. Oh, insider selling, the only thing insider selling is suddenly bad. I don't know, did they watch some TV show or movie, or maybe they're just uneducated. Insider selling is usually not bad. There's usually one reason for an insider to buy, but there are so many reasons why insiders sell. I've talked about this in a Lemonade video. If you want to check that out, it's going to be in the top right corner as well. But now let's go and listen to what Alex Karp had to say about other companies in Silicon Valley and what makes him, in my opinion, one of the best CEOs out there today.
The real problem on how America does in that context also comes down to the unwillingness from my myopic perch, totally impossible to understand unwillingness of a number of tech companies and engineers to support the US government. Now, I don't think everything the U.S. government does is right. I don't agree with a lot of things. I'm a citizen, and like many people, I'm sure everyone listening, we have our agreements and disagreements. But the odd reality that many in Silicon Valley are not willing to support the U.S. government in military context is something that should be a source of great discussion. And I, for one, always want to hear, well, if that's the case, how do you justify the fact that you're building your company in the U.S. and driving on our highways and getting protection from countries that are unhappy with the encroachment on their sovereignty simply because they don't want to offend the U.S. government and our taxpayers?
To me, this is music to my ears. Yes, I know a lot of people are skeptical of what and how Palantir manages their business, but at least he's a CEO that likes to speak up, clarify what they're doing if somebody asks him, unlike the other companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, when they're going into Congress or even Twitter. They're always asking them simple questions that they can never answer. And probably the US citizens are unhappy with that as well. What are you doing with our data? What the heck is happening here with our privacy, etc. You're going to see further in this interview, they're trying to get names from him, but he dodges all of that questions, but still manages to give us some answers.
Please call out some company names if you want to, but even if you don't, what is the motivation not to zip?
There's a long answer. I think the short answer is that some of them just don't have the sense God gave a goat. And they confuse having a high IQ with being sensible. But in any case, the longer answer would be something like, I think there's just a not an understanding of the historical reality of tech. We get away, in those of us who are entrepreneurs, for looking weird and living our own lives and not being particularly conformist because people in America see that we're creating value for them. If you're sitting on your perch in Silicon Valley and you're only creating value for yourself, monetizing the natural resources of your fellow Americans and others in the form of monetizing their data and providing no value to them, except for disrupting the businesses that people work at, you're going to find that your level of trust, it goes really down really far quickly. And I don't think this is something you can kind of IQ your way out of, which is, I think, essentially one of the problems in Silicon Valley. They just think that they're so smart that they can smart their way out of this. But it's just so obvious.
Who are the worst offenders?
Well, they shift. I mean, I don't know if it's helpful. People, it comes in a rolling set of offenses. And by the way, I'm hopeful there at some point could be some reform, because now this is something that really most people are very, very aware of. And by the way, it's a reason why a lot of us, as I mentioned, I believe we were the first company to leave the Valley. When we left the Valley, it was looked at as something completely crazily ridiculous. Who could leave the Valley? Now, lots of people are leaving the Valley. And part of the reason they're leaving the Valley is because the brand of the Valley is not good. And it's not good because they can't answer simple questions. What does your software do to help somebody? And the answer will be, I give a lot of money to philanthropy. Well, I'm all in favor of philanthropy, but there has to be a more direct answer. What does your business do? Or maybe there should be a more direct answer. Our company does nothing to help humanity, and we're okay with that.
I just love the way he attacks those big tech companies without needing to mention them, because we all know who they are. For me, this just speaks volume for him and where he wants to take his own company in the future. I know a lot of people will say, but Elon Musk is the best CEO out there. I agree, but Elon Musk is not from Earth. So right now, the best CEO out there today that comes from Earth is probably Alex Karp. And we're going to end with this little tidbit right here.
If, in fact, you are profit maximizing in your country, and that country is protecting you, you have a duty to protect the country.
I hope we can all agree Alex Karp is a legend right now. But now let's talk about the last topic, which is Palantir and Europe. As you most know, Europe is a very, very different continent than what the Americas are, or maybe Asia. In Europe, there's usually lots of regulations, way more regulations than the United States, because, well, lots of countries in the European Union. I don't know if you know, but Google, Facebook, Apple are always having lawsuits in Europe about privacy, data, etc. Obviously, Palantir, which is dealing with data and privacy and whatnot, is going to have some struggles into Europe. Right now, they have a couple of partnerships. The NHS, for an example, helped them with the coronavirus situation. I think other countries as well. But moving forward, if they want to go into data, privacy, whatever partnerships with big companies, In Europe, this is going to be a bigger struggle than what it is in the United States. That said, I do think Palantir is going to grow into Europe in the next coming years. It's going to be a very, very big market, but expect some struggles and probably expect some headlines as well. And that will be it for this video. If you liked it, consider leaving a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below what you think about Alex Karp and Palantir. I'm really interested to hear your opinion. And as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.